Joseph Parisi, Parkway Central, 1989.
Okay, what's your favorite high school memory?
My favorite high school memory. I had a ton of great memories in Parkway, but if I really had to narrow it down to one, and certainly it's at a personal level, but it was competing for a state championship in 1989. That is certainly one of the fondest memories, and certainly the greatest opportunity for growth from that memory.
And what did you compete in?
Competed in the sport of wrestling, and we were in the Hearns and was competing against a young man from Oak Park High School on the other side of the state in Kansas City. It was a very, very difficult time in that tournament, and very exciting at the same time. And I can remember looking around and very fond and vivid memories of Parkway fans that had aligned those first 4 rows of the Hearns, and it was very exciting, to say the least.
And how did that help, or how did that move you into your career?
Sure. So, the sport was certainly something that Parkway took very serious as they really blended in and honed in on not just academics, but that co-curricular participation as it related to that. And so my takeaway was, what opportunities do we have to further and take these aspirations? It wasn't a finish line mentality at Parkway. It was about what's next. And so that thought process for me at a young age, although I look back on it now and see that those opportunities were there, and certainly took full advantage of that, and that certainly led me on to college pursuits and college scholarships and things of that nature.
Tell us about your career.
Oh, so my career has certainly taken a whirlwind. I started in the health club industry, and had managed a health club for a good amount of time, and went into nonprofit management and was a supervisor at a boys ranch for conduct disordered youth, a behavior modification program. That led me into pursuing higher academic education and really thinking about this is great, I'm really helping this one organization right here, but let's go back and let's teach and let's think about how do we take this into the higher education classroom and what's necessary, and let's spread that word and that mission through many organizations rather just that one organization. And that really kind of took off for me. That led into a coaching opportunity. So teaching and coaching were kind of a combination of the job, and certainly was passionate about that, and that led me into working into many different higher education realms, which really led my passion into higher education administration. So it's certainly been quite the experience, but something that I truly value and am very proud of.
What would you tell students who are interested in going into your current career field in upper school or university administration?
Sure, I always encourage, I have an opportunity to meet thousands of high school seniors every year. And I think some of the biggest advice that I can give to them is to certainly follow that passion. I think at times they lock themselves into something too early and don't realize that you never know where that path is going to take you. And so I always relate it back to the foundation of a home. You're building that foundation, that field of service and knowledge that you can take on in combination with your passion and really do something that you aspire to do. But higher ed administration is certainly something that people think about. When people get into colleges or universities in terms of any level of work, they really see the value of what that brings. And it's very similar to the elementary or secondary environment. And it's about teaching, it's about learning, it's about following passion and those educational pursuits as they blend into many other areas of students' lives. And so I always encourage them to try that out and see what that looks like.
Are there any funny moments or aha moments that you can remember from high school or from your career that you'd like to share?
Wow, I certainly don't know if I could narrow that down to a few. I I think the biggest aha moment for me was actually moving into the Parkway district in junior high. And my parents, my dad was in the automobile industry and was relatively transient at some point. And so we had lived in St. Charles at one point, we had lived in North County at one point, we had lived in Rockford, Illinois at one point. And so moving back into Chesterfield in the Parkway environment was an aha moment. It was something that my parents were very fond of, and they did their research to their credit and kudos, and said, where do we want to raise our family, and what district, and what does that really mean for my child's future? And so again, as I look back on that now, I'm so thankful for that experience, but certainly coming from a different school environment, it wasn't the same. And so getting into the Parkway environment was like, whoa, this is really something special and something that we can really build upon. So if I had to narrow it down to one, that would be the one.
And that's a big one. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to share?
My experiences at Parkway, I wouldn't trade for anything. The faculty, the administration, the coaches, they were so passionate about what they were doing, and it was evident. And it was all about academics, but they were having fun while they were doing it. And so my biggest takeaway of that, and some of my favorite teachers along the way, Don Rothermick and Al Buckley and Coach Ball, Gene Ball, that was a very tight-knit group, and they were solid, and they were excited every day they were there. And as I think of that now, I think, what an impact that had on me. To be in an environment that was not only conducive for educational pursuits to really flourish, but an environment where people were having fun and they were passionate about what they were doing. And that takeaway for me was something that I truly value and cherish, and something that I aspire to continue to make sure that I'm, making sure that our environment emulates that, certainly at the higher education level, but certainly something to be noted.